Hello, Pilot OCRs, and welcome to episode 5 of the Pilot OCR training podcast series. We're going to talk about Dropbox today, and we're going to jump right into it. You can get to this Dropbox tool by clicking on the tool right here from your nav menu. And here is a list of all of your Dropbox items. And these will eventually probably be called assignments rather than Dropbox, but that's neither here nor there for now. To do this, we want you to go into these each assignment. You can click on Edit Folder, and we can see a lot of the details on the back end. So we want you to just double check and see, is the grade item there? Is the right number of points assigned? We want you to see, do they need to have instructions? Typically, we don't put a ton of instructions on Dropbox. We put them on the page prior. We really want you, as I go through the checklist, we want you to look at the due dates. And let's take a second to talk about these. So a start date means students are unable to submit before that date. And so if you want to use that, that's how that should be used. Due dates are nice. They work quite well so that once the due date has passed, it will mark any submission as late after that due date. But students can continue to submit until they hit the end date. So the end date is what locks them out. Once the end date has been reached, students can no longer submit this assignment. And so you as the Pilot OCR want to look at these 3 dates and are they being used effectively. We don't want to always have all 3 dates. You don't have to use all 3. You can choose to use one and not the other, but just something to think about as far as your due dates go. So I hope I'm clear about that. Do you have group assignments? So one thing to be aware of is you can do group folders. And I'm going to see if I can find, let me click out of here for you. If you have a group assignment, you'll see this little icon here. So this is group submission, and they'll tell you what groups they're assigned to. Group submissions are really nice because one person can submit the assignment for the whole group, and the teacher grades that one submission, and that grade and feedback get delivered to all students in that group. It works quite beautifully. So if you should have a group Dropbox assignment in your course, make sure that you have this icon there so that you know that that's right. This measurement icon means that this assignment is being graded, so there's a grade item attached to each one of these Dropboxes. Because of the duality of there's a grade book over here and Dropbox tools over here, just because you have a Dropbox doesn't mean it's in the grade book. So you want to make sure that you have this ruler here so that you can tell that this assignment is being graded. Let's see, going down the tool here, we also want to see how many file submissions are allowed. So we'll go back into this one. We'll edit the folder, and we want to see, in fact, I should show you this first. Let me go back. You can kind of see some really interesting things right here from the bird's eye view. You can see how many files have been submitted, how many are unread, how many are flagged, and what the due date was. So that's a really nice bit of information, but it doesn't always tell us everything we need to know. So we can click on Edit, and we can see down in here that we're going to allow unlimited files or one. How many files do we allow each submission? And then how many submissions are kept? And you can choose to keep all submissions, only keep the most recent, or only keep one submission allowed. So there's some interesting information there for you. So most of the time, not all of these are going to be used. Only one submission allowed, may or may not always be used. Anyway, that's some information for you to look at as the OCR. Hopefully you'll know what you want to have designed into each of those activities. I forgot to show you one more thing while I was back there. Hang on. So you also want to see if there's rubrics assigned. And so if there's a rubric assigned, it'll tell you what the rubric assigned is right here. So that's another great thing to check for. And the other thing I was going to show you is if there is Turn-In turned on this assignment. We haven't actually talked about this too much, but if you see this little icon here, the Turn-It-In originality check can be turned on Dropbox so that Dropbox assignments are having Turn-It-In checks running on the back end. And that's also a really great feature to have. So if that's supposed to be there, make sure that's there. So anyway, that's how I've kind of navigated through the Dropbox tool itself and how I can check on certain things. If you have any other questions about Dropbox or how to check any of its settings, please be willing to leave me a comment in the discussion board. Hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for all you do.